New York on Sunday, big city taking a nap. Mets will rise from their slumber and try and keep their winning ways going against the Cubs on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon in New York. Baseball at the big ballpark. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Chicago Cubs. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you today as the Mets play Game 3 of their 4-game series against the Cubs. The Mets have won the last 2, but they lost their captain at least for the day after he got hit by a pitch last night. David Wright hit in the shoulder blade, and it's the same shoulder that he got the cortisone shot in right before the All-Star break, and it's been bugging him a little bit.
Well, it's something that David's been downplaying, and you haven't heard much about it. And for him to take himself out of the ball game, it had to be a considerable amount of discomfort. So kind of indirectly now, we've always kind of suspected that David's shoulder has been bothering him. Well, this is kind of indirectly confirms it. He is out of the lineup today, and Campbell will be playing third base, but he'll be back in shortly.
Today marks the 1-year anniversary of Travis d'Arnaud's Major League debut, but Travis isn't in the lineup today. Anthony Recker is. Recker's playing time has kind of dried up since d'Arnaud came back from Las Vegas, but he has still been contributing.
Well, listen, it's his second year in the ball club. When the Mets got him last year, I had no idea what they were getting. And we've seen him now for a year and almost 2 years. His defense has improved markedly, and his throwing in particular, he has just been outstanding. Last year, in the games that he played, he hit 7 home runs. I mean big home runs. This year, he's not hitting for the average, but this big 3-run shot in Philadelphia was the game decider right there. So he's a soldier. He's accepted his role. He's a very integral part of this ball club, the bench players.
And he's been getting his 1 start a week and taking advantage of that. Recker will be in the lineup today, catching Arrieta and Montero. We'll talk more about the pitching matchup for today's game when we come back to Citi Field. Why is brought to you by Hyundai. Hyundai leaves the rest wanting. Find out why by visiting buyhyundai.com today. By Astoria Bank. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. By Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. And by New York 811, reminding you to always call before you dig. You can follow every Mets game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Mets.com today. Mets and Cubs meeting for the third time in this 4-game series. Here's your AT&T fan photo for today. It's a horse theme.
Oh, giddy up.
Love those hobby horses.
I do too.
Nice Mets colors. Nicely done. Well, there's Arrieta Montero, who gets his 6th major league start today. His 2nd since coming back from Las Vegas.
Well, he's kind of sort of similar to the start that Jacob deGrom got off to with a 0-4 start, but deGrom pitched much better. ERA in the 6s. It's been a real rough slog for him, walking more guys than he normally does. 13 in 25 innings. His last start, he really got rocked up by Washington in 5 innings, gave up the 3 home runs and a 7-1 loss.
Jake Arrieta has become the ace of the Cubs staff since they traded away Jeff Samardzija.
Well, that was July of last year, Gare. He's won 10 ball games for the Cubs in his year and a half here. Started the season on a disabled list. Didn't start pitching till the first week of May, and really took off after that start against the Mets in Wrigley Field, where he got a no decision. And has pitched outstanding ever since, around, 13 starts.
Arrieta Montero hoping to turn things around and get his first big league win. His first pitch coming up from Citi Field.
And we are going to challenge who? We're going to challenge, make the Met players even happier. We're going to challenge Kurt Gowdy, Steve Rabb, and Kevin
Sortatelli from SNY.
So the challenge is issued.
Okay. We're ready now.
1, 2, 3.
Oh! Wow! That's precinct. How you doing over there, Popeye? I'm fine.
Well, that was our contribution to the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. You notice that Ronnie was not there in person, but he was there in bobblehead to participate with us.
Neither Ronnie nor Popeye flinched. It was cold.
I thought you hung in there really well, Keith.
Well, I felt like I was going to the gallows there.
It was kind of like facing John Candelaria, you know.
Oh.
Anyway, it was all for a good cause.
Yes, it was.
Raise awareness for ALS research, and we passed the torch to our superiors, which I think is just perfect. Your Hyundai Cubs starting lineup for today. Luis Valbuena, the regular third baseman, gets his first start of the series. He's been slumping and ailing. John Baker, the Cal Berkeley product, will get his first start behind the plate. On a gorgeous, sunny, 80-degree afternoon, Rafael Montero tries for that elusive first big league win.
Well, 0-3 as you can see, and he really hasn't his first start. Remember, this is only his second start since getting called back up. Didn't really work his changeup in his last start. Threw predominantly fastballs. Let's see what he does with this very aggressive Cub lineup.
Chris Coghlan was hot coming into this series, but 0 for 7 in the first 2 games, and he takes Montero's first fastball off the plate for ball 1. Coghlan, Baez, and Rizzo for the Cubs. Against Montero, the 23-year-old from the Dominican Republic, who rocketed his way through the Mets farm system because of his control. He was a pitcher who, until this season, would always walk a man and a half per 9 innings, but this year it's been more of a challenge for him to throw strikes. Coghlan pops up the 2-0 pitch. Recker sheds the mask and runs out of room.
Well, you notice, Gary, the radar gun is 3 straight fastballs at 92. Remember his last start, he was throwing early at 94, so he was probably really pumped up in his first start since calling up. And now probably a little bit more down to earth. Let's not try to throw it through a brick wall.
Javier Baez waiting on deck. 2-1 to Coghlan leading off. And he fouls away the fastball. Checks the bat for cracks.
Yep, and he did crack it off the end of the bat. Little running fastball away. Good spot. There's David.
Don't know exactly how long David's going to have to miss, but when he got hit last night, it was right on the shoulder blade. He said in virtually the same spot where he got the cortisone shot last month. Battled that left shoulder injury that kept him out for a week before the All-Star break. Full count to Coghlan.
There's the first secondary pitch of the afternoon from Montero. A changeup that missed.
David talking to assistant trainer Brian Chiclow.
Well, you know what? You get older, you start getting dinged up. It catches up to you.
Fly ball out to left, and Dendecker toward the line, tracking it. And that's the first out of the day.
And we'll take a look at the Casey Stengel Metsies Lexus defense, as Casey used to call them. Dendecker, of course, is always going to play against the right-handers. Lagares, so solid defensively. Feel repetitive there. But Tejada hasn't started in, 11 days. So he's getting an opportunity to play today. And Recker also.
I feel confident that the Mets today will catch the ball better than most of Casey's early Mets additions. Javier Baez 2 for 8 in this series. The rookie's played a dozen big league games now, and he takes a strike. After all, it was Casey who looked at his team in 1962 and said, "Can anybody here play this game?"
He coined the phrase Metsy. Metsies. My Metsies. I love to listen to all his footage.
Not Mama, not Papa. Metsy, Metsy, Metsy. Baez hitting at .245, 4 home runs. Anthony Rizzo on deck. Baez has been chasing a lot of pitches in this series. He's yet to draw his first big league walk, and he struck out 20 times, and there's an example of his free swinging nature.
Well, there's a good slider, the first slider from Montero. See the circle on the ball? That backside circle you're seeing from the center field camera, well, it's the same thing from the hitter's perspective. See a little circle on the ball.
1-2 from Montero, and he throws that slider off the plate this time. 2-2. Interesting with a guy like Montero, who you're trying to get to be more aggressive, but facing a team that chases as much as they do, you wonder what the message is to him going into this start against this specific team. And he gets Baez with the slider. His first strikeout, 2 out and nobody on.
Well, predominantly, Gary, it's a very good question that you bring up. Is the predominantly that's the right-hand hitters in this lineup that are the free swingers. So Montero is going to have to use his slider more, not his changeup. And you just saw that there. Take quick work and take care of Baez. Send him back to grab some pine.
So here is Rizzo, the biggest hitter in the Cubs lineup. Second in the National League with 27 home runs. The Mets have held him in check so far in this series. 0 for 6 in the first 2 games.
It was quite a moment last night in that 7th inning with 2 outs and the bases loaded and this guy up.
Dick Block got him to pop up, and Montero does the same. Duda squeezes it, and Rafael Montero has a 1-2-3 opening inning. Mets will go to work against Jake Arrieta when we come back. With David Wright out of the lineup, Juan Lagares moves into the 2-hole. Daniel Murphy hits third. Eric Campbell replaces Wright at third base. Anthony Recker gets the Sunday start, and after Wilmer Flores started the last 10 games at shortstop, Ruben Tejada gets a spot start this afternoon as well against Jake Arrieta.
28-year-old Jake Arrieta, acquired from the Orioles last July. 10-8 as a Cub. As I said earlier in the open, he started out, his first start wasn't until the first week of May. His last 13 starts, he's only had 1 bad outing, and that was up in Colorado 2 starts ago. And the Cub defense brought to you by Coors Light. Ryan Sweeney in the lineup out in right field. Baez, this is Valbuena back in the lineup. He has been woefully struggling at the plate. I like his glove at third base, and John Baker, the veteran, behind the plate.
Curtis Granderson will lead off. Granderson's been in a deep batting slump, but maybe Arrieta can get him out of it. He has had great career numbers against Arrieta. 9 for 22 with 3 home runs. Granderson, Lagares, and Murphy for the Mets in the opening inning against Arrieta, who has turned his career around this year. And the first pitch hit foul down the left side.
Yeah, basic stuff. 4 pitches. Changeup is his 4th pitch. Uses it sparingly more against left-handers. Slider, curveball, fastball.
Arrieta is 28 years old. He was always considered a big prospect in the Orioles organization, but it never quite came to fruition for him there as Juan Lagares waits on deck. Arrieta, before this year, 78 career games, 72 starts. He was 24 and 27 with a 5.23 ERA. And he has gone completely in the other direction this year. 0-2 to Granderson, and he misses high. If Arrieta had enough innings to qualify, he'd be 8th in the National League in earned run average, 2.77 coming into the day. 28-year-old out of TCU. And he comes inside with the breaking ball, 2-2.
He's got the big front shoulder lift. And that front shoulder kind of points towards the third base dugout, and a deceptive delivery like he's throwing across his body almost.
Lifted toward left, and there's Coughlin waiting for it. 1 out.
Not much of a backstep, just kind of turns sideways. Shoulder lift, hides the ball well, stiff front leg. Not a drop and drive, that's for sure. That's around as technical as I can get for you folks as far as pitchers are concerned. It was tough enough for me in my career how to keep focused on the hitting. Very difficult. I couldn't worry about those pitchers. That was their problem.
I don't know. You sounded to me like an expert describing that delivery. Lagares grounds one down to first, and Rizzo makes the flip for the second out. So Lagares retired on 1 pitch. So 2 out and nobody on, and a man who once introduced himself to his Jacksonville University teammates as Daniel Murphy, number 3 hitter. Today is Daniel Murphy, number 3 hitter.
And I read in the paper a quote from Daniel saying it wasn't one of the smartest statements he made in his career. He wish he hadn't said that. As we all know, he's become very comfortable in that 2-hole.
Although he has excelled in the 3-hole when he's had the chance this year.
As he should.
He's hitting .353 in the 8 games that he started there this season.
I would love him in that spot. I've said it for a long time.
Leading the National League in base hits with 151, and he bounces the curveball slowly out to Baez at second, and Arrieta has himself the easiest of 1, 2, 3 opening innings. No score after 1. Were the only 2 managers to win 7 World Series. 7. It's a lot.
All right. What was the question again? The director was talking in my ear. And
there have been 2 managers in history who have won 7 World Series as a manager.
Okay.
Who are they? Starlin Castro leads off. Castro 2 for 8 in the series, takes outside from Rafael Montero. Castro with 138 hits this year, 6th in the league. Had his 14-game hitting streak stopped last night when he went 0 for 4. He's been batting cleanup most of the year for the Cubs. And he swings through that fastball 1-1. Rafael Montero made his big league debut on May the 14th. Got matched up against fellow rookie Masahiro Tanaka. Went better for Tanaka than it did for Montero. He made 4 starts before being sent back to the minors. Now his 2nd start since his return. 2 balls and a strike to Castro. Luis Valbuena on deck, and then Arismendi Alcantara. Montero filling the rotation spot vacated by Jacob deGrom when he went on the disabled list with some rotator cuff tendonitis. deGrom today took the next step toward returning to the rotation. He threw a brief bullpen session, just 20 pitches. The plan is now for him to throw a full bullpen session Tuesday or Wednesday and jump right back into the rotation when the Mets are in Los Angeles next weekend. So that means that for Montero, this is, at least for the moment, his last chance to make an impression. 3-1 to Castro. There's a strike, 3-2.
Well, it's interesting. He's been falling behind the count early. We were talking with that wonderful broadcast team for the Cubs, led by Len Casper, and he was asking about Montero and the walks. And I said, well, you know what? He's walking a lot of guys, but he's not wild. He's around the plate.
Into center field. That'll land in front of Lagares. A base hit for Castro. First base runner of the game for either side.
Well, step in the bucket. Fanny flying out, but the hands are back. And I believe he'll let top hand, he'll let go to get a little more extension and enough just to kind of soft line drive that ball in center field.
That's how he has 830 hits in his career at age 24. He just has tremendous plate coverage.
He'll have 1,000 hits next year if he stays healthy at age 25.
So here's Luis Valbuena, who has pinch hit in the first 2 games of this series, but this is his first start. He's in a 1-for-31 slump right now, and he grounds one down to Duda. Out at first, tag play at second, double play, 2 out. Duda has been handling the double play so nicely, and that time a perfect 3-3-6.
Has he not? Fantastic. He's got a very quick release with the spin. And right over the top, like a quarterback throwing a little look in over the middle, a little dart. You want to give your shortstop or whoever's covering, most of the time it's the shortstop, a straight throw. So he doesn't, not a sinker or a ball that runs. Most of the time guys will throw sinkers. You want to give him an accurate straight throw.
Here's Alcantara with 2 out and nobody on, takes a strike. Alcantara's been up with the Cubs for about 6 weeks. Shortstop and second baseman in the minor leagues, but he's been playing a lot of center field since coming up. Saw him drop a ball in center field last night that cost the Cubs. Montero spiking this one.
That's what Familia.
It's just a fastball.
I think it was something else.
Yeah,
it had to be. I think it maybe he wanted to throw a changeup, but you don't spike a fastball like that.
Not general.
That was bowling for dollars.
That's $10 for you and $10 for your pin pal. That was the changeup.
There you go. He said, I spiked it like one time. I'm going to come right back with it and throw a better one, and he did.
One and 2 to Alcantara, and he goes down on the changeup. So nice use of that off-speed pitch by Montero. He has his second strikeout. Mets will come to bat in the bottom of the second with no score. First 20,000 fans will receive a Curtis Granderson bobblehead, courtesy of Golds. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Lucas Duda leads off for the Mets in the home second. Lucas looking for his first hit in this series, but he walked 3 times last night. It says 2 there, but it was actually 3. 21 home runs, tied for 5th in the National League. And he takes a strike from Jake Arrieta.
Lucas has slowed down a bit at the plate, but primarily they've been pitching him a lot more careful. And there's the big shift.
And they overlap the third baseman Valbuena on the right side and leave Castro alone on the left, as a lot of teams will do.
Lucas' last home run was a week ago exactly, on the 10th against Kyle Kendrick in Philadelphia.
Arrieta ahead 0-2 and throws the fastball low and away.
So the 3 walks last night for Lucas. You know, he's very patient. He has a good eye. He does fish once in a while, but everybody does. But predominantly very disciplined at the plate and still maintaining his aggressiveness. That's what I like. And you know what? You can't force it, Gary, when they're pitching around you. You cannot make something out of nothing. You know, you got to take what they give you. And it's a walk, it's a walk.
That means taking a walk. That can be helpful too. Full count. And right now, when you look at the Mets lineup, and we talked about it last night, Lucas is the only guy who you really fear as far as the home run ball is concerned. Granderson's got 15 this year, but he has not hit one in a whole while. 3-2, and Duda takes one the other way for a base hit.
Well, that's beautiful right there, and I like to see Lucas do that because he's going to find himself hitting more home runs if he has this kind of approach. 2-strike hitting here, don't forget. Pitches on the corner, but a little up. That's perfect. That is sweet. It makes my heart go pitter-patter.
Beyond the reach of Castro, and the Mets have their first base runner of the day. Now Eric Campbell. Campbell got a start in the opening game of this series on Friday night and provided all the offense with a 3-run homer and a 3-2 Met win. Getting the start today because David Wright's shoulder is aching after getting hit by a pitch last night, so Campbell playing third base. Most of Campbell's starts have been against left-handed pitching, but getting the start against the righty today.
Well, Arrieta right now is really got command of his slider. I can see why he's been winning. He really gets on top of that slider with that big front shoulder tilt. And he comes down and really pulls, I guess the old terminology was you want to pull the shade down in a curtain. Well, pull the shade down, not on a curtain, on a shade. Don't pay attention to that.
I always pay attention to you. Well, you see Arrieta's stuff. I mean, he throws 95. He's got that little slider cutter that he throws at 90. He's got a good curveball to go with it. But the results had never been there before this year. There's a guy whose walks and hits per innings pitched were in the 1.3 range. This year he's 1.05, which is tremendous for a starting pitcher. So he's just not allowing a lot of base runners. Curveball struck him out. So Arrieta showing off the goods there against Campbell. Has his first strikeout.
Well, this is his curveball. You see the spin there, like spinning from 1 o'clock to 7, and he takes something off. That's his, uses it as an off-speed pitch, and he has that hard cutter that he throws at around 90, 91, 92.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Matt Dendecker. Dendecker 1 for 3 last night. Also drove in a run with a bases loaded walk. This is his 7th game now since being recalled from Las Vegas, hitting .286 since coming back. And he takes that cutter for a strike.
He's moved on top of the plate a little bit. He's obviously dropped his hands. I just keep saying this, folks, because those of you that are religious watchers of the Mets, there's other people that watch sporadically and may not have heard the adjustments that Dendecker's made. Closer to the plate, feet closer. Look at his hands. Down at his waist. And it's had a tremendous positive effect. He's really swung the bat well.
And you embrace all our viewers, the religious viewers and the occasional drop-ins.
That's right. And those that we try to hold that, channel surf, or they watch a couple innings and they go surfing or, come back.
But every time you drop a good word, a bon mot, if it will, that keeps them listening longer.
Well, hopefully that's our job.
1-1 to Dendecker. 2 balls and a strike.
I actually got a couple friends that surfing today. Going out
not channel surfing, like actual surfing.
Actual surfing.
Duda at first and 1 out. 2-1 to Dendecker with Recker on deck. That's a good-looking cutter for a strike. 2-2.
And when you stand close to the plate, that's the pitch that you're going to be vulnerable to. And when it's a strike and when they throw it off the plate inside to lay off, because if you swing at it off the plate inside, you're going to get jammed. So it's very critical to have a knowledge of where that inside corner is. Actually, both corners. You got to know both sides of the plate.
I think that throw surprised Rizzo. He was playing off the bag.
Well, it's a day game, right?
It is a day game.
Everybody has we've noticed over the years now, the cobwebs in these day games take a little while to get dusted out.
And the curveball strikes out Dendecker. So back-to-back strikeouts for Arrieta.
The off-speed curve, tumbling rotation, out of the strike zone, fished.
Well, you and I took care of the cobwebs in different fashion today. A little ice water at 11 o'clock in the morning, pour it on your head. That'll wake you up.
So you see Arrieta's grip there. He uses his middle finger on the seam. When Ronnie mentioned that, I remember always listening to Ronnie when he talks about guys throwing curveballs. I always threw when I was in high school, but I threw it off my index finger.
Here's Recker. Recker making his first start since Monday in Philly when he hit a 3-run homer to help the Mets to a victory.
He had been really struggling up to that point.
That's his only hit in his last 21 at bats, and then that stretches back for the last 6 weeks because the playing time has been so limited for Anthony, with d'Arnaud playing virtually every day. Recker getting the day game after a night game most weeks. Well, Arrieta has just been so sharp. He had back-to-back games in June after the Mets faced him. Back-to-back games where he carried a no-hitter into the 7th. No pitcher had done that since Dave Steve in 1988.
Dave Steve had a wicked slider, Toronto starter.
One and 2 to Recker. Well, the start against the Mets, he got beat up a little bit. He gave up 7 hits and 3 walks. But right after that, those are the starts right after he faced the Mets. 4 straight starts of 9 or more strikeouts.
3 of those on the road. The most runs given up were at home against Cincinnati, and Chicago, Wrigley Field is no friend to pitchers.
And Recker goes down on the curveball. So Arrieta strikes out 3 in a row. Got Campbell, Dendecker, and Recker all to strike out on the curve. Mets leave 1. No score after 2.
Our Verizon trivia question.
Casey.
Two managers to win 7 World Series. Casey Stengel won 5 in a row with the Yankees. Joe McCarthy the other.
Joe McCarthy was the man that managed the 30s, right? With the DiMaggio and the tail end of Lou Gehrig.
We had Miller, Huggins, Joe McCarthy, and Casey. It's a pretty good trio.
Yes.
Ryan Sweeney leads off in the 3rd inning for the Cubs. Sweeney getting his 2nd start in this series. 1 for 4. He's been a hot hitter. Playing right field today. And takes a strike from Rafael Montero. We've talked a lot in this series about the Cubs and all the prospects who are here and on their way. Well, the Cubs got a little bit of a scare last night. Chris Bryant, their slugging 3rd baseman, who's hit 40 minor league home runs this year, hurt his toe, went for an MRI today. No results yet. The folks that know these things about the Cubs' intentions and contracts and all don't feel as though Bryant's going to be called up this year. I think they're going to wait until a more advantageous time next year when they can exercise more control over his contract. After all, he was just drafted last year. But boy, it's hard to resist bringing up a kid who's hit 40 home runs.
I hear you.
In AA and AAA. Full count to Sweeney. Seventh batter for Montero and his 3rd full count already. And Sweeney pops one foul. Right underneath us, and a nice grab by a gentleman with no glove.
Well, speaking of injuries, as we look out at water at Flushing Bay, I don't know if you all read the paper today. The 88-year-old Manny Minoso fell off his boat. I don't know if he was in Lake Michigan or a surrounding lake. Nice base hit right there. Good hitting by Sweeney. So Manny Minoso was fished out of the water, been hospitalized, but they say he's in stable condition, and we want to wish Manny, give him our well wishes. He's a terrific guy. And he played, how many decades did he play?
Well, they keep activating him.
Right.
He has to make it till 90 so that they can activate him and put him in uniform again.
He was such a wonderful man. And when I was coming up as a kid, he was so gracious to me. That was when the White Sox were spring training in Sarasota, Gary.
Here's John Baker. And he pops one foul. Well, Manny Minoso is a White Sox legend.
Yes.
We certainly wish him all the best.
I had to bring that up because he was just so wonderful to me as a invited to camp, non-roster, 19-year-old kid, and for him to go out of his way to say hello to me and be so friendly, those are things you don't forget. Nice changeup.
Montero has struck out 2. Sweeney at first and nobody out. And he gets Baker with a changeup. Strikeout number 3 for Rafael Montero.
Well,
and that's the first out in the 3rd.
Pitching a little more craftily in today's ball game against this Cub lineup. Using his changeup, Gare.
Well, you talked about it during the start against Washington, how we didn't see much of that changeup. We're seeing it today.
He was pumped up, throwing 94. Right now, he's throwing 90, 91, 92.
Now, Jake Arrieta, 4 for 27 at the plate, and he'll be sent up there to bunt. And he takes a strike. What's interesting about Montero's changeup is he's throwing his fastball when 91, 92. The changeup's 86, 87, so there's not a lot of mile per hour difference, but he gets that great
downward movement.
Well, a lot of times, if you take too much off, a hitter can kind of hang. You know, Andy Messersmith was the greatest changeup I ever faced. And when he came over to the Dodgers, and he had some good years with the Dodgers, his best years were with the Angels. I believe Andy was a Southern California grad. Played for Rod Dato. I could be wrong. But he took off just about that mileage, just like
5-6 miles.
Yep, just not much, and it was tough to adjust.
Arrieta bunts it hard back to Montero. Out at second. The jump throw by Tejada, not in time. Nice effort by Rubin to try and turn the double play. But they get the lead man Sweeney for the second out.
Well, everybody's saying 2-2-2 to Montero. Doesn't hesitate. Tejada might have been better served going outside into the second base side of the line to clear the runner. He opted not to and got his clock clean there, and that's why he had nothing on the throw. Because the throw is perfect. He could have kept his momentum going out into towards right field and dodged the bullet.
Sweeney came right at him. So 1-6 on the fielder's choice for the second out. Arrieta at first, and now Coghlan the batter. Flied out to left his first time up. And the changeup low and away. Andy Messersmith, Cal Berkeley.
That's right. How can I forget that? My goodness. My brother went to Cal. That's why I knew about Andy.
And Coghlan hits a lazy fly out to left. And Dendecker takes charge of it to end the inning. A leadoff hit and one left. To the bottom of the third with no score. By Wise. Game time is crunch time with an all-star lineup of Wise snacks. We go to the bottom of the third inning. Jake Arrieta will face 8, 9, and 1 in the batting order. And before he does, let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, you guys were talking about it a little bit earlier on, but Jake Arrieta, it's like a completely different pitcher than he was when he was in Baltimore. He's gone from a guy that was shoved out the door down there to the ace of this staff here for the Chicago Cubs. And, you know, who knows why one particular player finally starts to get it. But what Jake Arrieta points to is one singular conversation he had towards the end of his tenure with the Orioles. He had gotten roughed up again on a road trip, and he was sitting on the team playing with Luis Ayala, one of the veteran relievers at the time for Baltimore. And what Ayala told him is, he said, you know, as a young player, so many people tell you, well, you just need to go through the experiences. You need to learn from your experiences. You need to fail first before you succeed. And what Ayala said is, I disagree with that. I think you need to go out there and grab a hold of these experiences. Don't wait for good things to happen. Go make them happen. And for some reason, that really resonated with Arrieta. He actually wrote that quote down in his phone and still to this day looks at it every couple of weeks when something is on his mind and maybe he's starting to think the other way. And what Arrieta told me is that when he did get traded to the Cubs, he had that conversation in mind and said to himself, okay, I'm at a breaking point in my career right now. It can go one of two ways. I am going to go grab hold, make this a positive experience. And boy, is he ever.
Certainly the results are there, and Ruben Tejada fouls one off.
Isn't it interesting how in the course of your life, whether it's in sports or business or any walk of life, if someone gives you a piece of advice that resonates and stays with you and makes a difference?
Like, try the sausage.
I didn't know. I never thought of that before.
Tejada dumps one into right center for a base hit. So Ruben Tejada getting his first start in 11 days. And he gets the Mets started in the home third. And that'll get Rafael Montero up there looking to sacrifice. Montero 0 for 7 with 1 sack over his first 5 big league starts. Buena creeping into third base. Montero.
Got to get the.
Might have the bat in the right spot.
He needs to get it in front. More towards the pitcher. Keep it there. See, he keeps. Wow, I've never seen someone get so low.
His knee is actually on the ground.
How low can you go?
Probably not a lot of maneuverability when you're down on the ground.
I think it's too exaggerated. Yes, that's no.
And that one goes to the backstop, and Tejada will go to second base. So after having success coming up and in on the first pitch to Montero, Arrieta went a little higher, and Baker couldn't handle it. It's a wild pitch.
Got to catch that ball, don't you?
I would think that's a pass ball, but the scorer said wild pitch. Also now Montero will try and bunt Tejada over to third. But he pops it up. And Baker has it for the first out.
Well, Mr. Montero, I think, needs to go in the cage and practice his bunting. I think that bunting from the knee like that is too low. And he's under it, and it's an easy pop-up.
It just seems as though if you're that low, it's inevitable you're going to be under the ball, right?
Yes. And does it alter the strike zone when you're that low? Is you more apt to walk? I don't think so.
So a runner in scoring position for Granderson with 1 out, and Curtis takes a knee-high strike.
Curtis down to 220. It's been a tough patch for him.
There have been a lot of lengthy offers in Curtis's first year in a Mets uniform. Yep. Right now 0 for his last 15.
Well, this is not a day where we're probably going to break out the Cholula very much. But there's a sign back there behind home plate. We'll see it every pitch.
Pulled down to first. Rizzo on the backhand.
Nice play.
Arrieta has it thrown behind him, backed up by Baker, and everybody's safe.
Well, very loose by Rizzo. Very nonchalant. And it's just no excuse for this. He makes a beautiful play on the backhand. And then just kind of da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, you got to make a better throw than that. It's just very, very, very nonchalant.
So Rizzo charged with a throwing error. And the Mets have runners at the corners with 1 out and a chance for Juan Lagares. Rizzo, his 9th error of the year. It's a lot for a first baseman. Lagares grounded out to Rizzo his first time up. Tejada at third, Granderson at first with one out. Each of the last two nights, the Mets had only 4 hits and won each game. Last night they had an inning where they scored 4 runs, only 1 hit, helped out by a Cubs error. Boxed around by Baker, but a strike nonetheless.
One thought it was low. I thought it was a strike.
First time in 25 years the Mets have had back-to-back wins when they get less than 5 hits in a game.
Well, I can see it happening in '89 because there was probably some serious pitching involved.
Toward the middle, Castro with a nice grab, and they turn the double play. Well, a do-or-die grab by Starlin Castro, and then Baez in the middle with the bare hand, and the Cubs turn a spectacular 6-4-3 double play to get out of the jam.
Well, terrific play by Castro, a little risky by Baez with the bare hand, but what a play by Castro.
They're making an impact in the community. Get an inside look at the careers of the Mets ambassadors, Mookie Wilson, Edgardo Alfonso, and John Franco on Mets Insider, presented by WB Mason, today after the postgame, only on SNY. Here's Javier Baez, who was in the middle of that inning-ending double play, leading off in the 4th inning. We talked throughout the series about all the shortstops the Cubs have. Well, here were 2 of them.
Well, it's an in-between hop. Beautiful stab by Castro. Nice backhand feed. And you know what? We've seen Baez play a little second base. He's not bad at second base. He is not a liability over there.
Well, again, it gets back to what we were talking about. Alcantara, who's playing center field, as a shortstop. Baez, who's playing second base, as a shortstop. And the Cubs' feeling is, at least a lot of people in their organization, if you have guys who can play short, they can probably play just about anywhere.
Because of their athleticism.
Now the question is, are they going to hit enough to play at what are considered more power positions? But you get a guy like Baez, who had 23 home runs in the minor leagues this year, and that plays if he can put up that kind of production in the big leagues. 3-1 to Baez, who has yet to draw a big league walk. Struck out his first time up today. 21 strikeouts, no walks through his first 54 big league at bats. Baez, born in Puerto Rico, went to high school in Jacksonville, Florida, and there it is. He's on with his first major league walk, the first of the day given up by Montero. Shea Bridge, always heavily trafficked. That's one of the real iconic pieces of this ballpark, that Shea Bridge.
Well, William Shea should never be forgotten in Met history.
You know, his name's on the bridge and also on the retired numbers in left field, so that name will live forever. Anthony Rizzo takes a strike.
Well, the Mets have handled Rizzo thus far. Hasn't got a hit in this series yet. A couple walks.
Popped up the first pitch he saw in the first inning. And takes one on the inside corner for a strike.
Big broad back, strong shoulders. Rizzo.
Just 25 years old and coming into his own this year. Hits one out to center, and Lagares has to move back for it. And he's got it. It's a rare time that you see Lagares not get a good jump on a ball. He froze on that ball. Had plenty of time to get back there, but normally he reads the ball off the bat so well.
Well, this time of year, it starts getting a little more difficult. You see the shadow here. It looks like the shadow is over the third base line. So he's kind of looking semi into that. It's a high sky today, too. Now, this is not exactly the same, this Citi Field. They kind of, as Shea was, they've kind of moved it to the left a little bit.
Right. Turned it so that instead of the sun setting behind the plate the way it does, with the way it did at Shea, it sets more behind third base line.
I remember September always being a tough sun month for the center fielder. Now it's that way for the right fielder.
Castro had a base hit to center field his first time up. Check swing tapper. Recker has to go out to get it. And Castro's retired, 2 out as Baez moves up to second. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. This was the grounds crew right after we did the Ice Bucket Challenge.
They got it far worse than we did.
They loaded that whole front loader, plus they had the hose on them. They got 20 times as much water dumped on them as we did.
Now watch this. Look at the chunks of ice coming down.
Fortunately, it didn't hit anybody in the head.
And they'll keep it. Oh, here look at the chunks of ice.
That went on forever.
Yes, it did.
Here's Valbuena, and he takes a slider for a strike. Valbuena grounded into a double play his first time up. So kudos to the grounds crew. That was major work there.
Can you imagine? That was the two of us. Oh. Well, here it is in real time.
I mean, it just kept on coming. And the hose, which I thought was a nice touch, since, you know, the grounds crew, they use those hoses in their work. One and one to Luis Valbuena. And he takes that fastball just off the plate. I would say that when we did our Ice Bucket Challenge today, that Ronnie was quite the stoic.
Yes. He did not flinch. He took it like a man.
Didn't grimace. Nothing. Valbuena lines one into right. That'll fall for a hit. Baez being waved home. Granderson's throw to the plate is cut off, and the Cubs have the lead. Luis Valbuena, who was in a 1-for-32 skid, gets the 2-out hit to bring in the game's first run.
Did not play in the first 2 games of this series. Gets a hanging slider right here. Didn't do much. Right down Broadway. And Granderson really had no shot to throw out with 2 outs to throw out Baez.
Rick Renteria rested Valbuena for 2 days, and he comes back into the lineup today and drives in the game's first run. Now Arismendi Alcantara with 2 out and a runner at first. Tight strike zone from the young umpire Will Little in this inning.
Well, this last couple strikes, the one on the outside corner prior to the base hit, and this last pitch. It's hard for us to tell. The camera's a little off angle, but boy.
Here's the good changeup from Montero, a ball and a strike.
Gets that changeup, see it run away from the left-hander. Very excellent weapon for Montero versus the lefties. If he can do that all the time, put it in that spot and get that kind of movement, he's going to have a lot of success. Alcantara has been having difficulties in this series too, and his batting average at .212 reflects that.
1 for 9 in the 3 games. City probables for the final game of the series tomorrow. Bartolo Colon will go for the Mets, and the rookie from Dartmouth, Kyle Hendricks, who has been spectacular so far, will pitch for the Cubs. Another Ivy League pitcher.
Keep him in baseball and out of politics.
2-2, and Alcantara foul tips it, but Recker couldn't hold it, and Alcantara stays alive.
He's got a lot of plate here, and he's basically under everything. Alcantara.
Ball did the full circle of the inside of Recker's mitt. Montero handles it, and he'll take it himself to retire the side. A leadoff walk hurts Montero. Baez comes in to score on Valbuena's hit. 1-0 Cubs in the 4th. inside camp. Here from third-year receiver Stephen Hill. Why he thinks this year will be his breakout season. Plus, go behind the scenes with rising star Demario Davis mic'd up on Jets Nation inside camp tonight at 7, only on SNY. Daniel Murphy leads off the home fourth inning. Mets down 1-0. Murphy grounded out his first time up, and he's late on the fastball. Here's your Coors Light Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Little 8-game bulge right there. 8-hit bulge, excuse me.
Been a tough last few days though for Murph. Just 2 for his last 17, and he bounces the breaking ball foul, and it's 0-2. It'll be Murphy, Duda, and Campbell. Murphy hitting third in the order today with David Wright sitting out. Jake Arrieta gave up leadoff hits in each of the last 2 innings, but was able to survive, thanks in part to a spectacular double play started by Starlin Castro in the last inning. One-two to Murphy, and he takes low and in. A slider from Arrieta, 2-2.
Tom Seaver would be very happy to see that. He's got a nice little tight cutter that he can throw to those left-handers. Keep him honest, and drop that little slow hook on him.
Cubs made quite a trade last summer. They got Arrieta and Pedro Strop, who is their setup man from the Orioles, for Scott Feldman, who was a free agent at the end of the year. Arrieta missed all of April because of shoulder stiffness, which is why he doesn't have enough innings to qualify for top 10 in ERA, but he'd be there. He has emerged as their top pitcher. And the curveball, Murphy just got a piece of it.
Got a piece of his foot on the foul tip. Back foot, I believe. Yep, that's rare. Usually it gets off the front foot.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming to Murphy, and he got him with a curveball in the dirt. Baker makes the toss, and that is strikeout number 4 for Jake Arrieta.
This is the first time I've seen this season where I think Murph might just be a little tired. You know, when you get tired, you don't have the mental acuteness. When your legs are tired, you're not as sharp mentally. Murph's very disciplined at the plate and swinging at some bad pitches. Might need a day off. Just give him a spell, let him catch his breath.
Here's Duda, who had a base hit to left center his first time up, and he takes a curveball inside. Well, if Terry were inclined to give Murphy a day off, it's that much harder now if David Wright has to miss a few days.
Of course.
Murphy has been
this is a
central figure in the Mets offense all year.
This is a stretch of games now the Mets are playing, and this is the dog days. I mean, you get into August, late July, August, they're called the dog days. There's a reason why.
Does it make a difference that the Mets haven't really played in much hot weather?
You're playing every day. That's what wears you down. So I'd like to see the guys stay home, enjoy a little bit of the afternoon, come a little later to the ballpark.
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, we talk all the time about how different it is now compared to 20 years ago in terms of the time that players spend in the ballpark during the day. Instead of coming at 3 or 4 o'clock, they're coming at 1 or 2 o'clock or even earlier.
Yep. It's a long year.
And they take more batting practice, and they take more swings, and they do more lifting during the season. And I wonder whether that has a cumulative effect throughout the year to make them maybe more tired this time of year than they'd be otherwise.
I have a hard time answering that because, you know, I never took the amount of BP that they did, that they do. That's something you can do in the off season. That's something if I could do differently, Gary, I would have stayed sharp in the off season. You know, Pete Rose was the first guy that you read about. Lucas goes down swinging on a nasty curveball. Pete Rose had the indoor batting cage in his home in Cincinnati, and he'd hit all year. I never touched a bat in the offseason. I wish I had, just to keep sharp, not overdo it, not every day. So at least you come to spring training with rhythm. You're not way behind trying to catch up. But during the season, I'm conserving my strength if I'm an everyday player. And I've always been a proponent, and I firmly believe this. When you're in a hot streak, the guy up there only gives you so many base hits in that hot streak, and I sure as heck don't want to waste them in a cage or on extra hitting on a field or a coach underhanding to me.
Eric Campbell struck out his first time up, and he hits one foul, 0-2. I mean, there are a lot of reasons why players come early. One is to do more work. The other is that, let's face it, clubhouse accommodations are a lot nicer than they were.
They get fed.
Yeah.
And particularly on the road. I know all the visiting clubhouse guys that are still there that when I play, they may moan and groan. They got to cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, I mean, there's still, you've got that whole back area, which is like an embassy, a sanctuary. Look for Quasimodo back there, for crying out loud. And then there's a pool table back there. There's video games. There's a separate kitchen and couches, lounges. I know when I played Shea, we only had the one little room back there, and it was probably a 10 by 10 or 15 by 15. One table with uncomfortable chairs. You only got around 8 guys in there. One love seat, and you cram in there. No televisions. I mean, we had TVs, but not with all the channels.
Arrieta strikes out the side in the 4th inning. He is looking awfully sharp. Rafael Montero down 1-0. Well, we can't afford to give up much more. August 31st for Family Sunday, when the Mets take on the Phillies at 1:10. The first 15,000 fans will receive a Mets lunch cooler bag, courtesy of Geico. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Family Sundays. I mean, it's a lunch cooler bag, but you can probably use it for breakfast or dinner too.
Nice day like today at the beach. A couple bags of ice in it. Some refreshment.
Some beverages.
Sandwiches will stay nice and fresh.
Sounds like a great idea. Ryan Sweeney leads off the 5th inning for Chicago and takes a changeup for a strike. Sweeney had a base hit to left field his first time up. Cubs got a run in the 4th on Valbuena's 2-out single, and that's been all. Sweeney pops one a mile high. Murphy couldn't find it. Granderson does, and Granderson's got it, 1 out. Murphy had no idea where that ball was.
Well, even if he did know where it was the right fielder's ball, so all good.
So 1 out. Here's John Baker, who, like Andy Messersmith, went to Cal Berkeley.
There's a few Cal Berkeley guys going around the league.
Jeff Kent went to Cal Berkeley.
Josh Satin.
Tyson Ross.
Yes.
Baker struck out his first time up. Baker now 33 years old. When he came up with the Marlins his first full year in 2009, he looked like he might be a star. He had 271 that year, drove in 50 runs, but then he had Tommy John surgery the next year, and he really has never been the same player since. Now the backup to Wellington Castillo with the Cubs. But Baker got a distinction earlier this year that that few have. That's a good changeup from Montero, 1-1. The Cubs played a 16-inning game against the Brewers, and they ran out of pitchers, and Baker wound up pitching the top of the 16th inning. Hits one out to right. Granderson comes on to get it, 2 out. And Baker got through the inning unscathed, and then scored the winning run in the bottom of the 16th, and he wound up being the winning pitcher. He was the first position player for the Cubs to get a victory in a game as a pitcher since 1885.
I believe it. Excuse me, my mic was. I believe it. I don't think it ever happened. I've never seen any position player get a win or a loss.
1885, that's 129 years ago. That's even longer ago than the Cubs won their last World Series.
I think that's 9 years after Little Bighorn.
20 years after the end of the Civil War. Arrieta takes a strike, 1-1. 23 years before the Cubs last won the World Series in 1908. That's how long it had been.
Oh, how cute. Where's Maurice Chevalier?
Thank heaven for a little girl. Here's the 1-2 from Montero, and it's lifted to right. And Granderson with all 3 putouts of the inning as Montero sets the Cubs down 1-2-3. Halfway through on a Sunday afternoon, 1-0 Chicago. In New York, nice and quiet in the big town.
I love the way you sang New York on Sunday.
Check out SNY.TV for an inside look at Jets and Giants camp with up-to-the-minute news, interviews, and player profiles, plus a complete breakdown on all the latest developments straight from camp on the JetsBlog.com and BigBlueBlitz.com, all part of the SNY.TV blog network. Jets and Giants both won last night. Neither one counted for a thing. Here's your Mets upcoming schedule, brought to you by Astoria Bank. One more game to play on this homestand. That's tomorrow afternoon, a noontime start. Then the Mets head out to Oakland to play the A's for 2, and then the Dodgers for 3. The A's, for the first time since April, are out of first place in the American League West. The surging Angels now have the best record in baseball after beating Texas for the 9th straight time. And the A's are percentage points behind them. So that's an interesting development. It's the first time that the Angels have been alone in first place since 2011. There's Matt Dendecker leading off in the home 5th, and he takes outside from Jake Arrieta. So a changing of the guard. The A's, who've been in first place most of the year and have had the best record in baseball for most of the year, now just a bit behind.
And it hasn't been like, it's almost been by default, because the Angels, you saw, are only 5-5 in their last 10 games, and Oakland 4-6. So it's not like one team got red hot and the other team slumped.
Anthony Recker on deck. Rare time Arrieta's been behind in the count today, and now he's 3-0 on Dendecker. Arrieta hasn't walked a batter. He struck out 6 over the first 4 innings. He has looked dominant, especially with his curveball. There's a strike, 3-1. 6 strikeouts for Arrieta, and all 6 have come on his curve. Dendecker trying to wake up the Mets offense, and he's on base to start the 5th. First walk given up by Arrieta. And the 3rd time today the Mets have had the leadoff man on. Anthony Recker coming up. Let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve.
Gary, I was speaking about it in the 3rd inning with Jake Arrieta, how his career in a lot of respects was turned around by a conversation he had with a veteran guy when he was a youngster. Now, coming over to the Cubs, yeah, he's only 28 years old, but he may as well be 42 on this roster. He is an elder statesman, and he feels like he needs to be that guy to now pass it on to the youth on this team. He said, I have to be that guy for this group. And one of the things that he does, he told me that, you know, in baseball there's really a stigma, right? When a guy has a bad inning, maybe as a pitcher, or hits into a double play, the worst thing to do is to approach him on the bench and in the dugout. You want to leave him completely alone. Well, Arrieta goes completely against the curve with that. He says the second something goes wrong with these young guys, he is right up next to them, reaffirming, telling them that they know, that the rest of the team knows that they're giving it their all and that it's okay. He thinks that if you leave guys alone too long, especially at the early stages in their career, things can fester and snowball the wrong way.
A little problem with the batter's eye. They had the advertising signs up, which they normally put up between innings. Now they have gone to black. Don't want to have a different background for the hitters.
No. Remember the old days when they used to wear Wrigley Field, when they put the people in center field, and the white shirts?
Same thing at Yankee Stadium. They used to have the bleachers open in center field to fans. It was much more difficult for the hitters. Well, what Steve was talking about Arrieta and veteran leadership, I mean, nobody knows about that better than you, coming to a younger team and feeling the responsibility to lead.
It's actually, if you embrace it, it can be a lot of fun and very rewarding. I never felt I had that role in St. Louis, Gary, because I grew up with a lot of the guys that I played with, and we all were in the minor leagues together, and I was the younger one of it. I had guys older than me, but when I came over here, I was one of the elder statesmen.
So what was the most important thing that you started to do that you were not doing before
well,
to embrace that role.
I talked to a lot of my teammates in St. Louis, and they all felt that I was the one that they looked to even there. I just didn't realize it.
So there was more leadership by example, is what you're
Yes, and I was really, there goes Dendecker. He's going to get it.
Baker's throw well too late and off the glove of Baez, but no advance. Stolen base for Dendecker, his third of the year.
Well, another weapon that Dendecker brings. Another tool. You can run. You can steal bases. Perfect time to steal. And stole it easily. Good acceleration.
Part of the reason why I think that eventually you have to think about Dendecker as a leadoff hitter.
Yes.
You know, he was doing a lot of leading off at Vegas. You could even hit him ninth where they had been using Eric Young if you wanted to go that route. He's at second with nobody out. And Recker takes a borderline strike. He certainly didn't think so. 2-2. So when you got here, how did that change? I mean,
well, when I got here,
leading by example, now you were doing
Seaver
something
was
more.
still here.
Right.
You had Mike Torres. Kingman was still here. So I didn't, that 83, I just was trying to stay, you know, I was feeling everything out.
Another strikeout on the curveball for Arrieta, his 7th strikeout, all on the curve.
Again, fishing for the bad one. So when spring training came and then all the younger players were there, and it was really the older guys were myself, George Foster was older than me. Seaver came to camp, remember, and then retired. He just didn't want to go. I remember talking to Tom and asking him to stay because he could be such an influence to Doc and Darling and Terrell. He just said he'd had enough. So when Seaver left, it was easier for me to assume that role. I can't usurp the throne, Gary. Oh, that's a table. They're having. There you go.
Some snacks.
Yeah.
Very artistic shot by our
camera crew. Let me tell you, they're always out there looking around.
We have an aesthetically pleasing bunch. They know how to bring you not only the nuts and bolts, but great art as well.
That's right, and that's why Al's on camera too, because all he's got to do is shoot the field.
Tejada had a base hit his first time up. He takes inside.
In the occasional foul ball.
So you're saying that Al's a little more prosaic and a little less poetic.
That's right. Al frames it better than anybody, I guess.
So you're saying he's good at the paint by numbers. You can keep it between the lines.
So this is a chance for the Mets to get back in the ballgame.
Of course, 84 was the year that Seaver went to the White Sox because they left him unprotected in the draft. I think you're thinking of 86 when Tom.
Oh, that's right.
Came back.
You got it.
In any event, the point is that at some point you took the reins of this team, and I'm just wondering what did you do when that process started to be that guy? Valbuena right at the bag, checks the runner, and throws out Tejada 2 away.
I just tried to be helpful. I patterned myself after Lou Brock, what Lou did for me, being a young player and a Hall of Famer. Lou was a great player, superstar. And I just remember it struck me one time. Brash Lenny Dykstra was invited to camp, and he had no business when the A team, we were taking BP, and it was the lineup at old Miller Huggins Field, the small field. And Lenny is being invited to camp, and he's hanging around the cage, and he should have been out shagging. But that's how brash he was, and watching me take BP. And when I came after my around fourth round, came over to me and he said, "You got a sweet swing." How can you not like him? But that's when I realized that I was being watched, and that my work ethic would have been. I was being eyeballed by a lot of young players, and you know, I had an MVP and a batting title, Gold Glove, and a World Championship under my belt, and why shouldn't they? You know, 300 hitter. So it kind of struck me then, and I realized. And then they just was infectious because everybody was so young and exuberant. And I came in the best shape of my life in '84. I came at spring training. That's when I first started running long distance. And I'm not going to make a long story short here. It's the first year I started running long distance, and I came into camp in great shape. So when we did our sprints, I was challenging them to run hard in the sprints with me, and we had great fun with it and laughing. And that's how the bonds start, you know. Then when the season started, it was, hey guys, let's go to the hotel bar, have a beer, and let's talk about our at bats. It's something the Mets just didn't do. Engage in how the pitchers pitched it.
And another curveball for another strikeout for Jake Arrieta. 8 strikeouts, every single one on the curveball, as he freezes Montero to get through the 5th. Quite an outing for Arrieta. He's up 1-0.
I hope I didn't bore you.
Arrieta has held the Mets in check. 8 strikeouts through the first 5 innings, just 2 hits. Luis Valbuena's 2-out single in the 4th, played in the game's only run against Rafael Montero, and this has certainly been Montero's best big league start to date. But he finds himself down 1-0 as he starts his 3rd time through the Cubs batting order. Chris Coughlin has been up twice, flied out to left field both times. Coughlin, Baez, and Rizzo here in the 6th. Coughlin, the former National League Rookie of the Year, 0 for 9 in this series after coming in a hot hitter. Montero has walked 1. He struck out 3, giving up just 3 singles. What have you liked from what you've seen from Montero so far today?
Keeping the ball down. Keeping the ball down today. Real well on the knees like DeGrom. And he's moving his fastball in and out. He's not overpowering, but with his changeup, he doesn't have to be. I think Ronnie mentioned he needs to work and get on his slider to tighten up his slider, and Ronnie knows more about that than me. but he moves his fastball in and out, and he's throwing his changeup. It's a good pitch, and he's got a lineup. Shoot, the only right-hand hitters in the lineup are Castro and Baez and the pitcher. So there's it's 6 guys that are left-handers he can throw that changeup to. That's really a good weapon.
Coghlan pulls one. Duda can't quite make the connection, and Coghlan has himself a leadoff hit. So the 4th hit for the Cubs. It comes leading off in the 6th inning.
I think it gets under his glove here. I think he's there. Well, Montero's got to go to work now. Got the free swinging Baez up here.
Baez drew his first major league walk in the 4th inning and came around to score. 2 for 9 in this series. Coghlan at first and nobody out. Baez takes a strike.
See, those are the strikes at the fastball that DeGrom throws right there. Knee high outside corner. DeGrom has like a computer. He can just paint that outside corner on right-hand hitters' knees. And this is what Montero's been doing well today. There you go. Good change. Excellent.
He's ahead on Baez 0-2. Leans him back.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. And that wasn't even close. Just heard hitters dive today. This is on the inside corner. But you got 2 strikes. You got to protect it. That is a great pitch. Now let's see if he stays in this time. Or if he doubles up in.
Well, he struck him out with a slider away back in the 1st inning.
They're going to go away.
And this time he gets him with a fastball. Second time Baez has been struck out. 4th of the day for Montero.
And you see Recker set up outside, and he comes across on the other part of the plate, the other corner, and beats him inside. And it looks like a 4-seamer, which means a straight fastball, a little dart.
So 1 out and 1 on, and now Anthony Rizzo, who's 0 for 2 today, 0 for 8 in the series. 27 home runs, 2nd in the National League. Giancarlo Stanton today has hit his 32nd of the year. Miami's up 5-0 against Arizona in the 6th.
Montero. Oh, I'm sorry. We need to show you the cold hard facts, Garrett.
And you see the home run leaders in the National League. Stanton leading the league in home runs and RBIs. He's having a fantastic season. And I wonder, with the Marlins sitting right around 500, whether Stanton will get the MVP balloting in his favor. I mean, really, who are the other candidates at this point?
I agree. Could it be a pitcher?
Well, Kershaw certainly is going to get a lot of votes. Kershaw finally lost a game last night, although he went 9 innings. Good change up by Montero, 0-1.
I almost feel that a pitcher has to have just a year of his life, because it's once every 5th day. In today's game, it's only 32 games, 32 starts.
Well, he's 14-3, 1.86, and he missed a month. It's pretty good, right?
But you give an MVP for a guy that's only accounted for 14 wins. Now, if you're, you win 30 games, you win 27 games, okay, I think that's consideration. When was the last pitcher?
Nobody's going to do that anymore.
No, that's not happening.
You don't start enough games.
So that's why I don't think a starting pitcher will ever be an MVP again.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's a chance you could have starting pitchers win MVPs in both leagues this year. Dendecker comes on to catch Rizzo's fly ball. I mean, Kershaw's got a legitimate chance, and so does Felix Hernandez.
Well, I think Trout's going to win it over there. If the Angels get in, they're going to get in the playoffs. I think Trout's got the inside on that one.
Well, after finishing second the last 2 years,
I think that he's got the inside track, and I really think that being an everyday player, and this is taking nothing away from pitchers, you need starting pitching to win, but the everyday players out there every day.
Here's Starlin Castro, who's 1 for 2, single to center back in the second. Slider off the plate. Well, Starlin Castro now in his 5th season, and since he arrived in the big leagues, as we look at more cold hard facts from Coors Light, Starlin Castro has more hits than anybody else in the National League.
He's also, is he the youngest in that group, or is McCutchen younger?
No, Castro's younger than
yeah.
McCutchen. Yeah. Runner goes. Recker's throw is a perfect one, and he guns down Coghlan to end the inning. Well, we featured Recker in our open today, showing off his improved throwing skills, and he throws another dart. Rick Renteria is going to come out, and he might challenge this call, but another terrific throw by Recker and a good tag by Murphy.
I think he got him.
I think he did too. Mets will hang around, not go in the dugout, wait to see if Renteria will challenge, and he will not, and that ends the inning.
He's going back towards the umpire here. What?
Well, he said no, and
he's going through his.
Yeah, he's done. So Recker with another fine throw. Middle of the 6th, 1-0 Chicago. Well, Anthony Recker gunning down Chris Coghlan to end that last half inning, and you see where he stands as far as throwing out base runners this year, right near the top 40 in the National League.
Molina 48.6. My gosh, he's so strong. He's so strong in his legs, upper body, but mainly in his legs. He's able to get up from the squat and have the strength with the perfect footwork and the strong arm. And that's something, you know, that didn't happen overnight, folks. He's worked very hard at it, Anthony.
Curtis Granderson leading off the home 6th, 3rd time around the batting order for the Mets against Jake Arrieta. They managed just 2 hits the first 2 trips, but Arrieta has been more vulnerable the 3rd time around the order and beyond. Granderson 0 for 2 today, 0 for his last 16. And Arrieta falls behind him 3-0. And Granderson, as we've seen all year, has been willing to swing 3-0 and been very successful when he has. Juan Lagares on deck, Daniel Murphy behind him. And Granderson takes a strike on the inside edge. Arrieta, third time through the batting order and beyond, has had the hitters bat .308 against him. 192 first time through, 176 second time through, .308 after that. So we'll see if that plays today. Granderson lifts one down the left field side. Valbuena over for a look, but it's in the stands. 3-2.
Well, 3-1 was the pitch to hit, and you foul it off, and you know you're not feeling good at the plate.
Look at that. 20 curveballs he's thrown, and 8 of them have been third strikes. So he has had that pitch to put people away. He's walked only 1. He's given up just 2 singles. 3-2 to Granderson, leading off the home 6 with the Mets down a run. And Curtis pops one up. Castro waiting for it to come down. 1 out. Let's check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has a game break brought to you by your local Tri-Honda dealers. If they didn't just post the home run number, but hosted the total distance of all the home runs, Stanton would have an even larger lead in the home run race. Well, these home runs are just massive.
We mentioned around a week ago how silently and off the radar map Miami's moved up the food chain.
Lagares lines one to left, but Coughlin's right there, 2 out.
If they win today, they get to 500 at 62 and 62.
Well, they got Henderson Alvarez back from the DL yesterday and pitched very well in a 2-1 win. And they're in front behind Tom Kohler today. There are your NL East standings. The Nationals continued to win. They won their 5th in a row last night, coming from behind to beat the Pirates.
Everybody won last night except Philadelphia.
But you know, the Marlins are only 3.5 out in the wild card, so they are very much alive. Here's Murphy. The Mets continue to sit on the fringes, 6 games out in the wild card. Lucas Duda would be next. Murphy's 0 for 2 today, grounded out and struck out. The wild card leaders, Cardinals and Giants in position, with the Braves and Pirates the closest.
You just don't see Murph swinging and missing fastballs like that.
Two hits in his last 18 at bats, so this is one of the rougher stretches Murphy's had in a while.
This might be a day after the game to go in the hot tub and soak a little bit, relax those muscles, get a good night's sleep.
1-2. Fastball got him looking. That is 9 strikeouts for Jake Arrieta. He's having himself quite a day. Through 6. Cubs 1. Mets nothing. first, glancing off the Unisphere.
It's really a nice park around the grounds around Shea and Shea. Oh, geez, $20 fine. City Field.
Flushing Meadows, Corona Park. Starling Castro leads off the 7th, and that you just witnessed was the first pitch ever thrown by Rafael Montero in the 7th inning of a major league game. He had never gone beyond 6 in his first 5 starts. And he's pitched well today. He's given up just a run on 4 hits. But Jake Arrieta has just been a little bit better.
Excellent changeup. Seems to have found his rhythm. Going to focus on him, pitching a fine ball game. He pitches on the first base side, the extreme first base side of the rubber.
1-1 to Castro, and he comes inside with a fastball. 2-1. Josh Edgen ready in the bullpen. You got Luis Valbuena, left-hand hitter who's driven in the game's only run, waiting on deck. And behind him, the switch hitting Arizmendi Alcantara. And Castro takes a borderline strike. 2-2. It's easy to forget with Montero. He's 23 and he didn't sign a pro contract till he was 20, which is very unusual for a pitcher from the Dominican Republic. Strike 3 called. Castro caught looking. 5 strikeouts for Montero.
Second time Castro caught looking on a 2-strike fastball in. Right there. Knee high too. Paint. 4-seamer. So this is what we saw in spring training, Gary, that opened our eyes. And very poised.
So here's Valbuena, whose 2-out single drove in the only run in the 4th inning. And a changeup to start him off. Valbuena 1 for 2 on the day. I was going to say of Montero, normally kids from the Dominican sign when they're 16. But he didn't really start taking baseball seriously till he was 17 and moved from the hinterlands over near the border between Dominican Republic and Haiti to Santo Domingo, where he was able to open some eyes and finally sign with the Mets at the advanced age of 20. And he's awfully refined for a kid who's only been a pro for 3 years.
It's much like that one singular city in Colombia that plays baseball with the rest of the
Barranquilla.
Yes, where the rest of the country plays soccer.
And the Dominican's kind of backwards, where almost everybody plays baseball except over near the Haitian border, where soccer is more prevalent. Of course, the Dominican Republic and Haiti share the same island, Hispaniola.
One was French, colonized by the French. That would be Haiti. And the other by the Spaniards.
And they are such different cultures.
Yes.
2-2 coming to Valbuena. Up and away in a full count.
Well, the natives of Haiti revolted against the French and gave them the boot. And then they proceeded to cut down all the forest for the navies of the European powers. And that's why it's the same island, and they're two like separate countries. I mean, separate like Mercury and Venus.
And more recently, they've had all sorts of squabbles about citizenship rights, and so it's been quite a history between those two nations. 3-2 on the way to Valbuena, and he struck him out with a changeup. Montero with back-to-back strikeouts to start the 7th.
6 strikeouts on the day, and Gary going to his changeup a lot more, 3rd time through the order. All this left-handed bats.
Well, he threw that changeup 7% of the time in his last start. He's been almost double that today. As you look at his numbers coming up through the farm system, and just hasn't had a whole lot of experience, but very early on showed the ability to throw strikes consistently. Alcantara with 2 out and nobody on, bluffing a bunt. Alcantara has struck out, hit a comebacker, 0 for 2 today, 1 for 10 in the series. And he hits one out to center. Lagares is right there, and that retires the side. 1-2-3 for Rafael Montero in his first major league 7th inning. Stretch time, 1-0 Cubs. Flavorful hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap introduces the new green pepper sauce flavor. Pick up the perfect punch of jalapeno and poblano today. By State Farm, today's State Farm agent of the game is Pat Cawley of Glendale, New York. Contact Pat's office at patcawley.com. And by Lexus, introducing a car designed with one purpose: to stand apart. The 2014 Lexus IS. It's your move. Jake Arrieta has a 1-0 lead going to the bottom of the 7th, and he has been dominant today with his curveball.
Well, there's number 1. That's a strike. In the dirt. A lot of guys been chasing. 9 total. Look at that. 3 out of 4 out of the strike zone. There's a strike. Okay. 3 out of 5. And that's not all of them. So a guy with a curveball like that, it's easy up here to look at it. You're always saying, okay, got to make him get the curve up. Can't go chasing. He's pitched a brilliant ball game today.
A sun-splashed crowd on a Sunday afternoon, hoping the Mets can find some offense. There hasn't been much of it lately. The Mets had just 4 hits last night, 4 hits the night before, 3 hits the night before that against Washington. So if the Mets don't get more than 4 hits today, it would be their 4th straight game of 4 hits or fewer. Coming up tonight on Geico Sports Night at 10:30, Michelle Yu will be in the chair. She's in the land of make-believe. We need to get her back.
Chuck Manzioni. Great album. Land of Make-Believe.
Feels so good. Lucas Duda leads off the home 7th. Duda has one of the Mets' 2 hits today, a single to left in the 2nd inning. Then he struck out in the 4th. Full shift on against Lucas. And the first pitch curveball is down for ball 1. They leave the shortstop Castro alone on the left side. Interesting, they're playing their left side infielder in to take away the bunt. As that one skips away, and it's 2-0 to Duda.
Arrieta has had a couple more than a few plate appearances here where he has fallen behind 2-0 and 3-0.
Especially to first batters of innings. Interestingly enough, Mets have had the leadoff man on 3 times in 6 innings, unable to do anything with it.
It gets a little dicier when you're only protecting a 1-run lead late, and a guy like Duda up. And I like the fact that he was behind 2-0 and went after him with a fastball. Everybody wants to trick everybody today. They want to make you look bad. 3-2 curves and changeups.
And Duda takes the cutter for a strike, and it's 2-2. Campbell on deck, Dendecker behind him, as the Mets try and put together something against the dominant Jake Arrieta. Full count. Cubs get their bullpen going. Neil Ramirez, no glove, no ball, but simulating his motion nonetheless.
Remember when Rick Peterson was here and he'd have him throw blindfolded?
And they'd throw from the upslope at the back of the mound.
He had some avant-garde ideas.
Duda takes inside, ball 4. There's a good at bat for Duda. Took that 3-2 cutter just off the plate, and the Mets have the leadoff man on yet again. It's 4 times in 7 innings. See if they can break through this time. With Eric Campbell coming up. Would you ask Campbell to bunt at this point in the game?
No, definitely not. 5th hitter. No. That's the only thing I might do. And now he's got the ball. He's ready to go. I could very possibly put, and you're down a run, but a hit and run possibly, but there's a big hole between second base and first, as you can see.
Right back to Arrieta. Castro with a turn. 1-6-3 double play. 2 out and nobody on.
Well, rally killers are the double play, and that's also a pitcher's best friend. Due to hustling this quickly, can't get there. Taylor made.
So as quickly as the Mets got a man on, that man is erased. 2 out and nobody on for Dendecker, who has struck out and walked. He stole a base after walking in the 5th, got in scoring position with nobody out. But Arrieta was unruffled. Got the next 3 hitters. Final game of this series tomorrow, a noontime start, so our coverage begins on SNY tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Bartolo Colon will try again for his 12th win, and the rookie right-hander Kyle Hendricks will go for the Cubs. Ball and a strike to Dendecker, making his 7th start since his recall. Anthony Recker waiting on deck. And Dendecker pops it up. Castro waiting for it. And that retires the side. So after a leadoff walk, Arrieta makes quick work of the Mets in the 7th. On to the 8th we go. 1-0 Chicago. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Well, this is how our day started.
Oh.
Keith and myself
Look
and
at Ronnie's
bobblehead Ronnie.
Oh, his bobblehead got crushed.
It got bobbled, didn't it?
Look at Popeye. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should eat some more spinach. Look at Russ. Russ looks like he's really enjoying it.
Sure. Wouldn't you? Ryan Sweeney flies one down the left field line, and that goes foul out of play. As we start the 8th inning with Rafael Montero still on the mound and Carlos Torres at the ready. Pedro Strop up in the Cubs bullpen. Jake Arrieta got the handshakes when he came into the dugout. And so it looks like, despite being dominant for the 7 innings he pitched, that Arrieta's day is done.
He hasn't even broken a sweat, has he? He's just been.
Sweeney lines one into right center, and that's down for a base hit. And the Cubs have their 5th hit of the afternoon. 2nd for Ryan Sweeney. Well, Montero had never gone beyond 6 in a major league game. We're going to get a pinch runner now for Sweeney. Matt Caesar is in to pinch run.
Spell it.
And it's kind of difficult to spell, so we're going to lay it out for you. SZCZUR. Do you remember there was a catcher with the Padres named Doug Goosh?
Yes.
And his nickname was iChart. His name was spelled GWODSZ.
It was. How'd you pronounce his name?
Goosh.
I thought it was Gauche. I said he was so gauche.
But I would say that Matt Caesar has Doug Goosh beaten.
Yes.
I mean, SZCZ?
It sounds like Balkan sort of last name.
I don't even want to guess on the origination, but it certainly is creative. John Baker up there to bunt on the first pitch. And now bunts one, and that trickles foul. Justin Ruggiano is out on deck to be the pinch hitter for the Cubs, with Arrieta due next.
Well, in a close game like this, and you've got a spot start, they're the family of Caesar. Simple, Seeger. It's Caesar.
Hell.
Well met. Ha.
There you go. Hail Caesar. As we said. Great minds. Runner goes over the mound. Tejada has to charge. Close play. And he gets Baker at first. So the hit and run play was on. And Caesar winds up at second.
You see, Tejada wasn't sure if Montero was going to get it. Had to switch gears and come charge that ball when he was going to be the guy to accept the throw, receive the throw if Montero fielded it. Nice play.
So a runner at second with one out, and now Ruggiano will be the pinch hitter. Dan Warthen is going to visit the mound. And while they talk, we'll check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has another game break brought to you by the New York State Smokers Quit Line. Tigers beat the Mariners. David Price outdueled King Felix last night. Detroit took over the second wild card spot from Seattle, and the Mariners with a chance to get it back today. Well, our statistician Dave Freed has contributed to the broadcast today. Took him to the 8th inning, but he's given us a very solid piece of information. We talked about the spelling of Matt Caesar's name and how unusual it is. Ruggiano tops one foul. Dave has discovered through extensive research that Wally Serbiak's last name starts the same way, S-C-C-Z.
Okay.
Wally's a Long Islander, right? And now Matt Caesar has contributed the same consonants to the baseball lexicon.
Ooh, where was that pitch? Might have been tad low. Boy, oh boy, you kind of want that one, don't you? It looks knee high to me.
Will Little, the young umpire, working behind the plate today. 1-1 to Ruggiano, who hit a home run in yesterday's game. And he lays off the slider. 2-1. Ruggiano, who 2 years ago had a terrific breakout season with the Marlins, but has had trouble sustaining that. He's played well in a part-time role for the Cubs, though, this year.
It's amazing. Sometimes that guys can just have 1 year out over their skis and they come back to earth.
Ruggiano's home run, though, last night was hit a long way. And Montero keeps it away from him with the slider. 3-1. He hit it over the city sign just to the left of center field and whacked a kid right in the chin. And the kid spent the rest of the evening with an ice pack on his chin.
And if you notice, that city sign is just to the right of the Harrah's Resort, Atlantic City.
Geography. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball by Montero. Threw him a 3-1 slider.
There you go. Got him out in front, took something off of it. Very poised young man. I love it.
Well, by far his best big league outing to date.
And I can call him a young man. 23 years of age.
3-2 to Ruggiano. And he missed with it. With another slider on 3-2. And that's the second walk of the day for Montero. And the last pitch he will throw. Josh Edgin will come in to face the left-hand batter with 2 men on. So Montero, the longest and easily the best outing of his major league career. He goes 7 1/3. He'll leave trailing, but leave having made an impression today.
No doubt. Bravo. Nice applause.
Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. Josh Edgin coming in. We'll be right back. Driver on the majors brought to you by Cadillac. Giancarlo Stanton 32nd home run. Marlins are up on the Diamondbacks 6-2. The Cardinals behind Adam Wainwright leading the Padres, and the other Chris Young, the other former Met, Will out in front for Seattle today. Josh Edgin comes in and gets a slider in for a strike to Chris Coghlan.
Well, Josh pitched the last game of the Washington series. Got the first 2 outs, loaded the bases on 2 walks and a single. Got bailed out by Carlos Torres. But he's having himself a nice season.
Coghlan 1 for 3. Remember, Coghlan hit a home run against Edgin in Chicago that ruined a Zach Wheeler start. But this time Edgin gets ahead of him 0-2. Well, Arrieta Montero has a lot to be proud of today. Bouncing back from a difficult start against Washington, and he was terrific today. Oh, 2 to Coghlan. Baez on deck, and Torres is staying busy. So this might be Edgin's only batter. 1-2 to Coghlan. Matt Caesar, the pinch runner at second. Ruggiano at first with 1 out. There's Baez on deck. Check swing. He went around strike 3, and Coghlan very unhappy that Will Little did not ask for help. But Edgin strikes out the only man he will face, and Terry Collins will come out and make a double switch. So Torres will come in to face Baez to try and get the Mets through the 8th inning. There's that half swing.
That's a better view right here. I say no.
Kirk Neuenhuis comes in the double switch. Dendecker is coming out, and Carlos Torres will come in to face Javier Baez with 2 out and 2 on in the 8th. Pitching change brought to you by Wise. 1-0 Chicago in the 8th. We'll be right back to Citi Field with the Cubs leading 1-0. He'll bat 9th. The new pitcher, Carlos Torres, will hit 6th.
Well, Carlos had that really tough patch where he was giving up home runs practically every time out. But last outing against Washington, went 1 2/3, no runs, no hits on 1 walk.
Comes in here with 2 out and 2 on to face Javier Baez, who's 0 for 2 and a walk. And that goes to the backstop. And the runners advance to 2nd and 3rd. So first pitch cutter from Torres. A wild pitch, and now 2 in scoring position for the Cubs. Caesar the pinch runner now at third and Ruggiano at second. So a base hit here could completely change the nature of this game. Baez has scored the only run of this game after walking in the fourth. Balbuena drove him in, and that's been it. 2-0 now to Baez. You got Anthony Rizzo waiting on deck. So even though first base is open, this is the guy you want to get.
Yes.
And Baez foul tips one. 2-1.
Big swing, and even if you got a rookie up there and a veteran like Rizzo, who's a left-hand hitter, and you don't want the right-hander facing him with the 27 home runs on a veteran, even if you have a rookie as Baez is hitting 300, having a great year, you rookie always beats you, not the veteran.
Baez just 21 years old. First 2 weeks in the big leagues. And that massive swing, 2-2.
Massive swing that he stumbles across home plate. See that a lot in today's hitters. And he's late with that big long swing. It's way too long.
Now it's 2-2. Just missed.
Torres thought he had it. I thought it just missed. Let's see. And it did. And Baez showing some plate discipline there with 2 strikes.
Three and 2 to Javier Baez. Curveball, did he go? He did not. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Now Torres had thrown him all cutters, and then he threw his first curveball and he bounced it. He could not get Baez to swing.
Well, it didn't start in the strike zone from the get-go. It was low. Ball bounced in front of home plate.
Now Baez has swung at a couple of those in this series, but not this time.
He shortened up. Oh, I shouldn't say shortened up. He became more compact with 2 strikes.
Well, this was not necessarily the scenario the Mets were shooting for when they brought Torres in the game, to have him face Anthony Rizzo with the bases loaded.
Well, they had a similar situation last night with Vic Black out there.
And Black got him to pop up. Torres hoping for the same. Rizzo swings and misses at that cutter in on his hands. Well, the Mets have done a great job against Rizzo in this series, 0 for 9, including 0 for 3 today.
Great location for a cutter.
And Rizzo foul tips one, and it's 0-2.
They have handled him. Now he's not done yet in this at bat. Just staying inside on Rizzo.
Now Torres up in the count, 0-2. He struck him out. Carlos Torres gets a king size down in the 8th inning. And the Cubs leave him loaded. Recker down to block the curveball. Rizzo down on strikes. Still 1-0 Cubs. Matt Caesar in his big league debut will stay into play in right field, which is the Sun field, and Pedro Strop will come out of the bullpen to try and hold it for the Cubs.
Well, Strop pitched a clean inning in the first game of the series, in the ninth, that 3-2 Met win.
See how dominant he's been against right-hand hitters, hitting just 141 against him, and he'll get 2 right-hand hitters, Recker and Tejada, to start this 8th inning.
Boy, you're Jake Arrieta. I just wouldn't want to hand the ball off. I'd want to dribble the ball up the floor. No dishing off, no assists, into the layup.
Pulling up to the 3.
No layup.
Arrieta threw 7 scoreless innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. He was in complete command, but now he can only watch as Strop and then presumably Hector Rondon, the Cubs closer, try to protect a 1-run lead. Recker's been out twice, struck out both times against Arrieta, and he takes inside from Strop for ball 1. Henry Mejia up in the Mets bullpen.
It worked out well. Buddy Carlisle closed out the game last night with a 4-run lead, enabled Mejia to get a day off.
Well, with Terry Collins making the double switch when he brought in Torres, I would presume that if the Mets are still behind in the 9th, that Torres will stay in the pit.
I believe so.
If they tie it up or take the lead, then we'll probably see Mejia. And Strop with a good breaking ball, 1-2.
Strop's got a funky motion, herky-jerky, deceptive.
Strop came with Jake Arrieta in the deal last summer that sent Scott Feldman to the Orioles. It's been a very productive trade for Chicago. 1-2 to Recker, and he goes around to the half swing, and Recker is struck out for the 3rd time today.
Let's see. Yeah, maybe. Take a look at his motion from the stretch. A lot of left. That right arm, the glove arm, is all over the place, flapping like a wounded duck.
There's Ruben Tejada, who has one of the Mets' 2 hits today. Single to right center against Arrieta, leading off the 3rd. And he pops this one up in foul ground. Rizzo takes a look, but that's in the crowd. Tejada's hit leading off the 3rd was the last one the Mets were able to garner against Arrieta. Later in that 3rd inning, Rizzo made a throwing error, and the Mets had 1st and 3rd and 1 out, but the Cubs turned a spectacular double play started by Starlin Castro, and that was really the only chance the Mets have had all afternoon. Kirk Neuenhuis sitting 9th in the order on deck. And Tejada just get out of the way, 1-1. Ruben starting his first game in more than a week and a half. Wilmer Flores had started 10 straight games at shortstop, and Wilmer had a great game last night. A couple of RBIs, a couple of fine defensive plays. We'll be back in the lineup tomorrow. 2-1 to Tejada.
Here comes the cavalry.
And Tejada's got his 2nd hit of the day. So Ruben Tejada getting what has been now an increasingly rare chance to play and coming through with a couple of hits. And Eric Young Jr. will run for Tejada at first base, carrying the tying run. So Tejada has 2 of the 3 Met hits, and now his work is done for the day. And Young will run.
Well, Eric Young has had limited play also, and has been used a lot by Terry Collins as a pinch runner late. And I think he has orders to steal.
No question, and we've seen that. He did that the other day when he came in to pinch run late. Stole a base immediately. was against Washington in the game on Wednesday. Came into pinch run in the 9th inning and stole first pitch. Neuenhuis, the batter, up for the first time after coming in a double switch. EY with 27 steals, still 4th in the league in stolen bases despite the lack of playing time. Well, the Mets have stolen 1 base today. Dendecker in the 5th inning. John Baker, since his Tommy John surgery, just does not throw very well. Strop has allowed just 1 steal this year. And so they are rightly concerned about EY at first base. One out and one on. Not running. And Neuenhuis takes the fastball outside. Two and 0.
Yep.
Well, pitcher's attention divided with a base stealer at first base. Curtis Granderson waiting on deck. Neuenhuis has done a fine job at a pinch hitting role here in the double switch and trying to make some hay with Young at first base. Strop behind 2-0.
And Neuenhuis hits one into center field. Arizmendi Alcantara makes the nice grab as he dives for it, and that's the second out. Well, Alcantara, who had one go off his glove in a key spot yesterday, here makes an important play.
Well, we mentioned in yesterday's game too, Gary, how shallow Cub outfielders play, particularly Alcantara in center, and last night Ruggiano in right field. And Ruggiano got beat with Magarris's double. That was really a fly ball to the track that had the big inning in that 3-run inning. They got the Mets in front 3-0 early.
So here's Granderson, 0 for 3 today, 0 for his last 17. Young never ran during the Neuenhuis at bat, but now it gets away from Baker, and EY goes to second.
Baker's having a rough day. Remember, there was a wild pitch earlier that should have been a pass ball. Or box it and send me a dozen. That's just that's not going to happen.
They're going to charge a wild pitch to Strop, but that's a ball
that's a pass ball.
Has to be stopped. So now the tying run in scoring position with 2 out. 1-0 to Granderson. And Curtis takes inside, 2-0.
This critical juncture in the game, I can understand players getting tired. I know today's game, the day game, but when it's 1-0 late, you got to be on point.
Granderson, 2 hits and 4 career at bats against Strop. And he lays off a pitch in the dirt. He stopped the swing in time, and it's 3-0. Meantime, Baker was able to keep it in front of him.
I don't think they wanted anything to do with slumping Granderson because he's a left-hand hitter. I think they're going to want to go after Lagares. See if they get the 3-0 hit sign here. I doubt it. But Collins has given Granderson a lot of 3-0 hit signs this year.
And he's had a lot of big hits on 3-0. Towels at the ready. Unused so far. 3-0 pitch. Swinging, and he drills one. Foul.
Well, Terry Collins, I likes to roll the dice. I like it.
With runners in scoring position, Granderson hitting just 179 this year. And with 2 outs, even worse. Trying to turn that around. 3-1 coming from Strop. And Granderson takes a strike, and the home plate umpire Will Little forgot the count. He gave his strike 3 call.
Yep.
And he just got embarrassed.
Never seen that. That's a hanging breaking ball right down.
I mean, it's one thing for the players to forget the count, but how about the umpire?
Granderson lines one into center field. That's in for a base hit. Eric Young around third. He'll score the tying run. Down to second base goes Granderson, and the game is even at 1. Granderson struggling all year in 2-out RBI spots, comes through to tie the game.
Another breaking ball, just rolling it up there. Not a good breaking ball.
And a ill-advised throw allowing Granderson to get to second base.
Terrible throw.
I mean, there's no chance you're going to throw out Eric Young.
Well, how key is the wild pitch, which really was a pass ball. And that's just a little backdoor nothing slider. Granderson all over it.
So now the Mets are a base hit away from grabbing the lead. Juan Lagares the batter, and he takes a curveball for a strike. Lagares 0 for 3 today, 2 for 10 in this series.
Well, yet another no decision that we see for so many starters that just hand off to a bullpen that spits the bit.
Arrieta so dominant through 7 innings. Castro throws out Lagares. The inning is over, but the Mets get it even. Curtis Granderson driving in the tying run with a big base hit. That sends us to the 9th, tied 1-1. Homer Flores comes in to play shortstop. He'll hit 6th in the order where the pitcher had been, and Henry Mejia goes in the 8th hole as he comes into a tie game in the 9th. Inside the Lines brought to you by Scotch Blue Painters Tape. Scotch Blue, see what you can do. Mets able to get the tying run in part because of a ball that got away from John Baker.
Well, it's 2 wild pitches in this today's game. One didn't hurt the Cubs. This should have been a pass ball. And there you go. There's a difference in a ball game.
Starlin Castro will lead off in the 9th inning against Mejia, who makes his 2nd appearance in this series. Got the save in Friday night's game with a 1-2-3 ninth. Castro hits one deep to right. Back toward the corner goes Granderson. And that ball is out of here.
Oh, wow.
A home run for Starling Castro to put the Cubs in front. Castro goes the other way for his 13th home run of the year. And Chicago, just like that, goes back in front 2-1.
Well, one of the reasons why I do not like the three divisions is that you don't see the other teams that much, or the other players. This is a cutter that didn't cut up belt high, and I'm telling you what, when you go opposite field this ballpark, I don't care if it's down the line. That's impressive.
Right into the front row. Valbuena hits one sharply. Duda makes the grab and gets the out. So Mejia, on the first pitch he throws, gives up the go-ahead home run to Castro. And after the Mets labored hard for 8 innings to get even, the Cubs go back in front on one pitch.
Wow, that was lightning striking.
Now it's Alcantara who made that fine catch in the bottom of the 8th. Otherwise, the Mets might have gotten more than one run in that inning. Alcantara 0 for 3 today, 1 for 11 in the series. And he hits one up the middle, a base hit. So the first 3 hitters in the inning all putting the first pitch in play against Mejia. And we have seen this before. And the Cubs get their closer, Hector Rondon, up in the bullpen. Now Matt Caesar will take his first big league plate appearance. Caesar, who grew up down in Cape May, and his contingent is ready for the moment. Came in as a pinch runner in the 8th inning, stayed in the game in right field, and this is his first big league plate appearance. And he takes a strike. First pitch that hasn't been put in play from Mejia. On the way, that home run by Castro, the first that Henry Mejia has given up since June the 1st. Like a bolt from the blue. Curveball away, 1-1. You see what Castro's done on first pitches this year. This is an aggressive swinging Cubs team. It has both hurt them and in that at bat helped them. Caesar was hitting .261 in AAA, 1 homer, 24 driven in. Former football player at Villanova. Well, we showed you the first pitch numbers for Castro. They're the first pitch numbers against Mejia. So he has been hit hard.
What that doesn't tell you is what pitches are they? Have they realized that Henry is a breaking ball pitcher? Particularly left-handers on the back door. I'd like to really see a breakdown of that first pitch.
League average is usually right around 330 on the first pitch. Past the mound, right at the bag. Stepping on the bag is Murphy out there, but the throw gets away, and Caesar is safe at first base. Murphy grabbing the ball, stepping on the base, and making the throw all in one motion, and the Mets not able to turn the double play.
Well, Murph does a nice play there. Just kind of got his foot on the corner of the bag. Tough play. Almost pulled off a beauty.
Yeah, you kind of have to load up again after coming across the bag.
Yep.
And that cost him.
He just about made a beauty. But most importantly, the ball's not a base hit, and he got the lead runner.
So 4 unassisted on the fielder's choice. Recker is out to maybe challenge, and now he decides not. Murphy clearly was on the bag with the ball.
Are they watching from the dugout?
Well, the thing is, on any close play, the manager should come out.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And that's just the way the rule is written, and that's why they have to change the replay rule to take the managers out of the equation, because it's silly. So 2 out. Caesar at first, and now John Baker the batter. Baker's 0 for 3 today. Well, the Mets down by a run will have 3, 4, and 5 in the order coming up in the bottom of the ninth. That's Murphy, Duda, and Campbell. And if anybody gets on, Flores. Mets are down to just 2 players on their bench, including David Wright, whom we assume is not available. So that leaves only d'Arnaud. And the curveball in for a strike to Baker.
Ooh.
Miami pouring it on against Arizona. Trying to get back to 500 with a win today. Oh, 0-2 to Baker. Chris Valaika has come out on deck. He'll pinch hit if Baker keeps the inning going. Valaika started the first 2 games of the series at third base. Mejia trying to put this inning to bed. 1-2 to Baker. Rondon ready to go. Runner goes, swung and missed. Baker's out on strikes. The inning is over, but the Cubs regain the lead. On the first pitch thrown by Henry Mejia, Starlin Castro goes the other way. Plunks one in the front row for his 13th of the year. Chicago 2, Mets 1, going to the bottom of the ninth. Try and save it for Chicago.
Well, he was not originally the closer here, and he's assumed that role. And you know, 16 out of 20, it's kind of deceptive today. But 16 out of 20 is 16 out of 20. The Cubs are hoping he goes 17 out of 21.
Daniel Murphy leads off the last of the ninth. Mets down 2-1. Murphy 0 for 3 today, a ground out and 2 strikeouts. By the way, they have changed the ruling on the ball in the 8th inning that got away from John Baker. It's now a pass ball,
So
which makes that an unearned run.
Oh.
Rondon overpowering Murphy at 98 miles an hour, 1-1.
That unearned run doesn't help Arrieta. We finally got a Cholula.
Ooh.
Good slider right there.
Rondon, second year with the Cubs. He was originally signed by the Indians. Cubs got him in the Rule 5 draft 2 winters ago. Jacob Turner staying busy in the bullpen for the Cubs. But it's Rondon's game to close. 1-2 to Murphy. And a defensive cut to stay alive.
Murph looks out of sync today, the last couple days. Actually hit a ball hard last night, so sometimes Murph can look terrible, and then next pitch or next at bat hit a seed.
All it takes is one swing.
Good
cut there.
Good cut.
Well, if the Mets don't get another hit in this game, they will have had their 4th straight game with 4 hits or fewer.
Slider. So Rondon doesn't like to throw that fastball inside the lefties. He's got a natural running fastball away, so his comfort zone is that outside corner with his fastball to lefties. They're going to call it in. See if he can get it there.
7th pitch of the at bat to Murphy.
He did.
And he just missed inside.
That was close. Good effort right there. If that's a strike, it's got Murph. That would have been a heck of a pitch. It missed. Good call.
Very close. Now 3-2 to Murphy leading off the inning. And he popped it up. Castro right there. 1 out.
Castro's got around 3 or 4 pop-ups today. This kid's got a good student. I'm sorry, Gary. I didn't step on you. Rondon, very impressive here. He throws hard. He's got a good live fastball. A good slider. I like his stuff.
And he's been throwing more strikes as the year has gone along. Just 13 walks in 46 innings. So now Duda, who's been aboard twice today with a single and a walk, 1 for 2.
There's that big shift.
Well, if you're Rondon, you know that Duda is the power threat in the Mets lineup, and so you keep the ball away. And as he does, he throws the slider outside. Eric Campbell waiting on deck. Into the shift. Rizzo's got it. 2 out. And so the Mets are down to their final out. Eric Campbell comes to the plate. Campbell subbing for the injured David Wright today. 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a comebacker that turned into a double play. The Mets took the first 2 games of this series, winning in both games despite collecting just 4 hits. Today, 4 hits has not been enough.
That's good live fastball from Rondon.
Final game of the series tomorrow afternoon. Bartolo Colon against Kyle Hendricks. A noontime start. And the curveball in for a strike, and it's 0-2. Wilmer Flores would be next, but the Mets are down to their final strike in the 9th. .99 from Rondon, just outside. Early call for Colon tomorrow. Campbell went around, strike 3, and the ball game is over.
Come on.
So Rondon pitches a 1-2-3 ninth. Starlin Castro's 9th inning home run puts the Cubs in front to stay. Terry Collins not happy at all about Will Little, the home plate umpire, not asking for help. But then again, he didn't ask for help all day long. So the Cubs, after losing the first 2 of the series, win this one 2-1.
Well, hard-fought game. Mets battled back. Got an unearned run, a fortunate pass ball. Granderson came through with 2 outs with a base hit, tied the ball game in the 8th. But Starlin Castro, the all-star shortstop, opposite field home run on the first pitch of the top of the 9th off Henry Mejia down the right field line, his 13th home run, and that's the difference in the ball game.
Well, when the Mets have been tied after 8 innings this year, it has not gone well for them. They're 5-16 in games that are tied after 8. And today it took just 1 pitch for Starlin Castro to put the Cubs back in front in the 9th with a home run off Henry Mejia as Chicago wins it 2-1. We'll come back with more from Citi Field in just a moment.